Yes, my wonderful and beautiful people, we are about to change head gasket in our vehicle. What we're doing, we're showing it to y'all. Just remove the camshaft to get to the head bolts on the engine head. And you will get to see what we're doing so far, you know. So these are the head bolts down inside there, and especially those the camshaft. It was more underneath the camshaft, so I had was to take out the camshaft. So you will get to see the taking down and the assembling. Okay, this side here is the intake side. So I removed the intake manifold from the engine head in order to access the engine head, because I need to remove it in order to get to the head gasket. And I also will be changing the valve seals and everything. Need changing, you know. And on that side, as you could see, remove the exhaust also and set it aside for the removal of the engine head, you know. And I don't need to take out things that is not necessary. So you just look for the things that connected to it and could move aside by unbolting. We're taking out the head bolts and then we break it and slacken it up now. So right now, just remove them so we can get the head out of the block and get to the head gasket. Okay, well, here goes the head coming out from the block. One connection we have to unconnect is behind there, just the hose. So when we remove that, we should get more clearance. Okay, and now I could see the hose better, so let me remove it as it's in. We remove the hose. As you could see, is a coolant passage. It's to bring the coolant so to cool the engine. And it's out she goes. Okay, let's see what's pulling you. Okay, and here she goes. As you could see inside the cylinder, as I predict. Hey, cool. Okay, so let me see where the head gasket blew. Let's see if we could figure out. It seems, well, all of them seems that they have been blown from cylinder to cylinder. Here are the, you know, this is the head bolt put, and here is where the oil pressurized and go up into the engine from the engine block. So you could see the amount of coolant, and if you look at it, it seems that some of the oil was mixing with the coolant, because you could see there is oil floating, because you know oil always float above water. So this is signs of oil was getting into there too. And you could see the engine wasn't well kept, all this build up, you know. So we'll do some cleaning. I will see how I could customize my own tool to get in down there, clean it out. And we're changing the oil also. We're doing one thing, you know. Okay, so this is the number 1 cylinder here. So on timing, this cylinder is supposed to be up here, at top dead center. So before I put back the head, I will make sure that it's top dead center. So that will be the timing for the crankshaft position sensor in order to read that the engine is functioning the way it's supposed to function, because out of timing could cause a serious problem. So you have to make sure that you time your vehicle right, and it's an important part, very important part. Everything is important in the vehicle. That's how come it's function, as small as it may be, but it have its reasons in order to be there, you know. So bless you. And that is the head gasket we're going to remove now over the block. And you know, we have to clean it out, clean out the top of the block, everything, make sure everything flat, you don't have no warpage and so forth, you know. So far it looks okay. So I'm cleaning out the surface, you know, where the valve flange cover have to go and fit in, so then I could get a better seal when I'm ready to seal it. And also I will do it to the next side, so you could, you know, when you put on the head gasket, the surface is clean and nice, so you could see it better and have a better seal. Okay, so here is the combustion side. This lock over the cylinder and create the combustion chamber. That's where all the activity is taking place. This is the valve, the intake, the exhaust that opens. Hold on. That opens and allow air to come in and exhaust to go out. That's also you mix the fuel, the air, and inside this combustion, you mix fuel, air, and this is the spark plug. I didn't take them out as yet. I'll just leave them sitting there. It won't cause no harm, because so long as nothing pressed against that to squeeze it in, then it's fine. They're well sealed out. So we're gonna clean that side here now. You can see there is a lot of build up over the years of the combustion gases and so forth, and stick onto that, create a carbon. So we're about to clean it, and when we reach to it, we will do some grinding of the valve, simple ways, to make sure that the valve is sitting properly, so we don't lose compression in the engine also. So this is the gasket we remove, and now what happened, the causing the gasket to blow is, as you could see, all these marks is where the coolant was leaking into the cylinders, see, and here you could see the impression of the damage here. So the coolant also get into the oil and mix in the oil. The reason why that happened, because the oil pressure, as soon as you switch off the engine, the oil pressure drop it immediately, but the coolant now remain hot, so you keep the pressure until the engine cool. So you keep pressure, because you know, if you're boiling a pot, that you find steam come out, and that is what lifts up your pot cover. So that is what happens with the coolant, and it came directly. It did not go to the oil, didn't mix inside the coolant port, but it mixed into the oil, so the oil get contaminated, and all that causes exhaust gases to enter the coolant and contaminate the coolant also. So we have to flush out the coolant system and also the oil system, so everything could seal properly when we put on the new ones. And here we are about to take out the rocker arms, and there is some Allen key screws we have to remove in order to take out the shaft of for the rocker arms, you know. Then we go into the valves, both intake and exhaust side. We put in new seals, new valve seals, and we'll also grind the valves in order for it to sit properly so it don't leak and cause compression losses, you know. So that is what we are about right now. We are about to go and do, and we have to make sure all this the wheels, all these dowels and them, they in place and we don't lose them, because that also helps seal the engine and make it go in the exact areas you have to go in the engine block. Also, that is a guide, that is guides for it. So yes, so we are about to go and do a thing, get our tools. Okay, this is a clip in order to hold it together. Here we're going under the shaft of the rocker, you know, to hold this. So that this is out from the intake side. So that is what we have to do, is to get them out. You see, you just pull them out, and this ball point go and sits on top of the rocker arm shaft. So we're removing these first. And I also want to put them back exactly where they come from. So there is 8, because it's a 16 valve 4-cylinder. So these now, when you unmount the screws, they pull out the shaft, these will come out as we pull out the shaft. So that next we're going to do, and we're going to put all of them in the same order. Make sure that everything is good. So we're looking for the okay, so also make sure you have the right tool. This is an Allen key, and let me see how much point that it have. Let me see, 2, 4, 6. So it's a 6-point head, and make sure it's properly. You don't want it damaged. So we get this one brick, and then we will continue the process as the same way. You know, this is what hold the rocker arm shaft in place. So we're removing this in order to get out the rocker arm shaft. Don't use nothing metal in order to tap on it, because you don't want to damage it. So I'm using the back of the hammer because it's rubber. You see, you could customize your own tool. Okay, this one come on. Okay, nice. And finally it's out. Yes. So as you can see now, there is more access to the spring for the valve stem. So we have to remove the retainer now to remove everything at the assembly, and we won't get to the seal. So I'm doing all of this one time, and after that I want to clean out every gum that is in it. So then we have to come up with our own idea now to take out these valves. Let me get a deep socket, something maybe I don't have to bother about. Let me see. So that's the intake side. Let me see if that tree going to work. Perfectly. You see? Perfectly. You see it? Perfectly. So all this is make sure you don't lose the retainer, because that is what have to lock the washer onto the valve. And this is the valve stem here, and that's for the valves on the other side. So we're going back to the other one, and you could see it lift. It lift. Now we get another. Okay. This source piece that come out. Another retainer. Everything in place. With this. So that is ways you could that's just ways that you could remove them, and you could also put them back the same way. Just get a socket that fits exactly over the washer where the retainer is going. But the next time you have to use our next technique, and I will show you. So we're going. There is tools that designed for that, but when you don't have it at the moment, you have to try other things. So this here is what we went and changed. You see them? You could see they're there quite a while, because okay, so this is all the engine head components, the valves, the rocker arm and all these things, and then the springs, the retainer clip, and this is the valve seals, the valve stem seals. You could see that they're brittle and broken up, so that causes the oil to leak down into the cylinder. That is why when you start in the morning time, you're going to see some blue smoke coming out of your muffler.